These have one thought, so they give their power and authority to the wild beast. These will battle with the Lamb, but because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, the Lamb will conquer them. Also, those with him who are called and chosen and faithful will do so. They are, in fact, expressions inspired by demons, and they perform signs, and they go out to the kings of the entire inhabited earth, to gather them together to the war of the great day of God the Almighty. For God put it into their hearts to carry out his thought, yes, to carry out their one thought by giving their kingdom to the wild beast, until the words of God will have been accomplished. And the woman whom you saw means the great city that has a kingdom over the kings of the earth. These have one thought, so they give their power and authority to the wild beast. These will battle with the Lamb, but because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, the Lamb will conquer them. Also, those with him who are called and chosen and faithful will do so. And they gathered them together to the place that is called in Hebrew Armageddon. Furthermore, whoever was not found written in the book of life was hurled into the lake of fire. Our heavenly Father will go out and war against those nations as when he fights in the day of a battle. In that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives will be split in half, from east to west, forming a very great valley, and half of the mountain will move to the north, and half of it to the south. And I saw the wild beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to wage war against the one seated on the horse and against his army. In that day there will be no precious light, things will be congealed. And it will become one day that is known as belonging to our heavenly Father. It will not be day, nor will it be night, and at evening time there will be light. In that day living waters will flow out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the eastern sea and half of them toward the western sea. It will happen in summer and in winter. And this is the scourge with which our heavenly Father will scourge all the peoples who wage war against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot away while they stand on their feet, their eyes will rot away in their sockets, and their tongues will rot away in their mouths. In that day confusion from Jehovah will be widespread among them, and each one will grab hold of the hand of his companion, and his hand will come against the hand of his companion. But the rest were killed off with the long sword that proceeded out of the mouth of the one seated on the horse. And all the birds were filled with their flesh. And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven with the key of the abyss and a great chain in his hand. He seized the dragon, the original serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he hurled him into the abyss and shut it and sealed it over him, so that he would not mislead the nations any more until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Happy and holy is anyone having part in the first resurrection. Over these the second death has no authority, but I saw thrones, and those who sat on them were given authority to judge. Yes, I saw the souls of those executed for the witness they gave about Jesus and for speaking about God. And those who had not worshipped the wild beast or its image and had not received the mark on their forehead and on their hand. And they came to life and ruled as kings with the Christ for 1,000 years. They will be priests of God and of the Christ, and they will rule as kings with him for the 1,000 years. Anyone conquering will inherit these things, and I will be his God and he will be my son. I also saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God and prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Only those written in the Lamb's scroll of life will enter. And there will no longer be any curse. But the throne of God and of the Lamb will be in the city, and his slaves will offer him sacred service, and they will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. Happy are those who wash their robes, so that they may have authority to go to the trees of life and that they may gain entrance into the city through its gates. Its gates will not be closed at all by day, for night will not exist there. And they will bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it. Outside are the dogs and those who practice spiritism and those who are sexually immoral and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone who loves and practices lying. But anything defiled and anyone who does what is disgusting and deceitful will in no way enter into it. With that I heard a loud voice from the throne say, "Look! The tent of God is with mankind, and he will reside with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and scrolls were opened. But another scroll was opened, it is the scroll of life. The dead were judged out of those things written in the scrolls according to their deeds. And the sea gave up the dead in it, and death and the grave gave up the dead in them, and they were judged individually according to their deeds. And death and the grave were hurled into the lake of fire. This means the second death, the lake of fire. And the wild beast was caught, and along with it the false prophet that performed in front of it the signs with which he misled those who received the mark of the wild beast and those who worship its image. While still alive, they both were hurled into the fiery lake that burns with sulfur. Now as soon as the 1,000 years have ended. After this he must be released for a little while. Satan will be released from his prison, and he will go out to mislead those nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the war. The number of these is as the sand of the sea. And they advanced over the whole earth and encircled the camp of the holy ones and the beloved city. But fire came down out of heaven and consumed them.